If you are at all interested in American history, then there's a pretty good chance you've heard of the Watergate scandal. You know, the whole President Richard Nixon ordering his people to break into the Watergate complex and spy on his opponent thing? The scandal that caused the one and only resignation of a US president? Yeah, that one. Well, as it turns out, the Watergate Hotel is still around, and it's even a luxury hotel. Not only that, but you can actually stay in the room where the break-in was orchestrated. And we did just that. Not so fast, my friends. First, we should start where all good hotel videos start. Check-in. The lobby has certainly retained its 1970s era vibe, although with more of a swanky feel to it. Check-in was smooth and the front desk staff were friendly, and soon we had our key to room 205, the infamous Scandal Room. People commonly mistake this room for the room that was broken into. I'll show you that in a minute, but this room is actually the room in the hotel where the culprits hatched the break-in plan, and the balcony was actually used in the break-in. Now please enjoy a little tour of the Scandal Room while I tell you a little story about the infamy that is the Watergate scandal. The year was 1972. The Watergate complex in Washington, D.C., a group of modernist buildings that included offices, apartments, and this very luxury hotel, became the unlikely stage for one of the most infamous political scandals in American history. The Watergate scandal began with a seemingly minor break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters. Let's check in with our live correspondent, me, to get a recap of what happened. All right, so the way I understand it is this room was where some of the criminals checked into. This wasn't actually like the office building where the DNC was. It used to be this was all like office buildings and condos and a hotel. Now I believe it's just luxury condos and a hotel. But what happened was the crooks were in here and they would walk out onto the balcony. They would take the balcony across outside, and then there were stairs down here. And then they would climb up the stairs, and where those bars are on the window, that's the Democratic National Committee. The men who broke in were subsequently arrested when a security guard tipped off the police. Initially, the break-in seemed like a routine burglary, but it quickly became apparent that there was more to the story. Investigative journalists Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein of the Washington Post uncovered a trail of corruption, illegal activities, and cover-ups that pointed directly to the Nixon administration. The Watergate complex itself, with its distinctive curved architecture and elegant design, became a symbol of the scandal. The hotel and office buildings, once known for their luxury and prestige, were now forever linked to political intrigue and deception. The scandal's revelations included illegal wiretapping, campaign finance violations, and attempts to obstruct justice. One of the most explosive pieces of evidence uncovered during the investigation was the existence of tape recordings made in the Oval Office. These recordings, ordered by Nixon himself, captured conversations that took place between the president and his aides. When the tapes were subpoenaed, Nixon initially refused to release them, leading to a constitutional crisis. The content of the tapes, when finally revealed, provided undeniable evidence that Nixon had been involved in the cover-up of the Watergate break-in. The tapes included discussions about using the CIA to obstruct the FBI's investigation and other attempts to derail the inquiry into the scandal. This revelation turned public opinion sharply against Nixon and led to the initiation of impeachment proceedings. As the investigation unfolded, it was revealed that the break-in was part of a broader campaign of political espionage and sabotage orchestrated by members of Nixon's re-election committee. The Watergate complex's name became synonymous with political scandal, and the suffix "gate" has since been used to describe numerous other controversies. The fallout from the Watergate scandal was immense. It led to the indictment of several high-ranking officials, a loss of public trust in government, and ultimately the resignation of President Nixon on August 8, 1974. I hope you enjoyed that new segment, History Time with Seth. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. As you may have imagined, the Scandal Room had a bathroom, where I think it's fair to assume that at least one of the crooks had the nervous poops. There was a dual walk-in shower system going on here, which I have no opinions on. I guess it is an efficient use of space. However, the tub does seem kind of small. Let's do a bathtub size check.
I've seen bigger.
I knew it was too small. You were also provided with some custom-made Watergate hotel amenities, which I thought were quite nice. And for those of you who are interested in seeing the toilet, there she is. The Scandal Suite also has a very large walkout balcony, although it was way too hot in July to get much use out of it. Now, let's go back inside. I bet you thought that I forgot to do a bed review. I could never forget.
All right, time for the all-important bed tour. First thoughts are, what are those?
I hate useless pillows. No, no, no. That's more like it. It looks inviting. It looks modern. I like this, even though I just ragged on the pillows. I don't know what that's called, but I think it looks nice. Let's get in. All right. The pillows are really nice. That's very firm. Initial impressions of the bed. While I know we have to sleep in it overnight to get the real feel, I should trademark that, real feel. So far, it feels a little firm for my liking. I can almost feel the springs. I don't know if I like that. Other small complaint is it's a little short. Feet are almost at the end there, but that's really a me problem. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm like super tall, so sometimes my feet hang off the end of the bed. But I'll get back to you in the morning, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Welcome to the patented Free to Roam side profile, where I get way too close to the camera and we get intimate. Just kidding. The pillow's really nice though. I'm glad that there are 4. That's an appropriate amount of pillows for a bed that sleeps 2. The indentation is really nice, firm around the neck. I'll report back in the morning, but I think I'll have a good sleep here.
Now that we have thoroughly examined the bed, let's talk about some of the other cool and unique features of the Scandal Suite.
All right, so I've had a few minutes here in the Scandal Room, and if you're even moderately interested in US history, this place is really cool. They have all sorts of different newspaper articles, books, looks like records from the time, and a lot of these are reproductions, but there's even like original artifacts, I guess. I don't even know if you call them artifacts, but this right here is the actual safe that was in the Democratic National Committee that the crooks broke into. And so that, I think, is just really neat. Nothing in it though. Missed opportunity. Could have put something really cool in there.
In addition to all of the unique items, the Watergate did not forget that this is still a hotel room where people would be staying, so they included all of the usual things like an espresso machine, snacks for purchase if you want to spend $15 on like 10 M&Ms, and of course, a fully stocked minibar. Alright, while the room was awesome, the rest of the hotel was really cool too. Let's head downstairs and check out one of the 3 restaurants Watergate has to offer. The first restaurant we tried was called the Next Whiskey Bar, and it by far had the coolest design of any of the restaurants. The entire design was custom made for the Watergate, down to the uniforms worn by the staff, which were custom designed by the costume designer for the hit TV show Mad Men. There were 2,500 custom designed whiskey bottles that formed the walls of the restaurant, and each was backlit to give a soft amber glow. I thought the design was really amazing and gave off some Roaring Twenties vibes. You could order craft cocktails and bar bites to have delivered to your seat, and if you were a crazy person, you could even get a $50 Manhattan. For me, I had the Call Me Doctor, which had bourbon, gin, scotch, lemon juice, and ginger cordial, and later a classic old-fashioned with Blade and Bow bourbon. After that, we headed down to the Watergate's main restaurant to get some dinner. The restaurant is named after the eastern kingbird, a bird native to Washington, D.C. Kingbird bills itself as a contemporary Italian steakhouse, which I guess was true, but the food definitely felt very Americanized Italian. The restaurant itself was once again custom designed, this time by Ron Arad, a British-Israeli designer who was responsible for the design of the Maserati showroom in Italy, chandeliers for the Swarovski Crystal Company, and more recently, the United Kingdom Holocaust Museum. I did like the design of the restaurant and thought it blended in seamlessly with the design of the rest of the hotel. For starters, we were served some fresh baked bread, but then things got a little weird. I ordered the chicken parm, but hang on. Why is there a leg on my chicken? I think that was wholly unnecessary from the chef, but hey, it was still a good chicken parm. After dinner, we went up to what I think is the most underrated place in all of the hotel. There's a huge rooftop bar called Top of the Gate, and the views were absolutely stunning. There was plenty of seating, and it was nice to see it so full on a Saturday night, despite it being unbearably hot in DC. The rooftop offered panoramic views of the city, including the Potomac River, the city of Arlington right across the river, and if you look closely, you could even sneak a peek at the Washington Monument off in the distance. Certainly not a bad place to have a little champagne. In addition to being able to eat and drink to your heart's content, the available facilities were also very nice, but don't expect to have your socks blown off. There was a full-service spa, which I never really go to, but maybe I should. The pool was okay. I mean, basically just a regular pool, but you know, it's there. The hot tub gets extra points from me because of these chairs. I'd guaranteed fall asleep. My whole body'd be looking like a raisin. There was also a sauna, which of course I checked out for science purposes, and yep, confirmed hot. No need for that when you can just go outside and sweat all you need. But if sweat really is your thing, then may I interest you in a little workout? Alright, after that fake workout, I think it's time for bed. Good morning from a very hot and sweaty Washington, D.C. Just woke up, feeling pretty good. Got some coffee from downstairs, sitting on my balcony outside of my room. Slept pretty well. Unfortunately, I don't think the bed was that great. My bed at home was better. And I know you're saying like, oh, well, it's your home bed. Of course you think it's better. Well, I don't mean like it just feels good to sleep in your own bed, because of course it does. I mean like the actual quality of the bed. We just have like a normal person bed. But I feel like when you're at a nice luxury hotel, you want like something a little bit better than like a normal person bed. And it just wasn't that. It was a little bit too firm. I still slept really good, so no knocking on the sleep. It wasn't noisy or anything. It was a good night's sleep, but my standards were a little bit higher, I guess. Overall though, I really enjoyed my time here at the Watergate in Washington, D.C. The service and the staff were 10 out of 10, fantastic. They were super attentive, always smiling, always ready to help, offering me water, offering me coffee. They even offered to give that tour at the beginning of the room. That was really cool. As far as the hotel goes, it's really nice. The bar area and the restaurant and the lobby and the library area, all those were really cool decorated. But I think like if you're just going for luxury in Washington, D.C. and you don't care at all about like the history of the Watergate and President Nixon and things like that, then maybe you're better served off somewhere else. There are nicer hotels in D.C., but if you're at all interested in the history, as we hear a plane go by, let's see if you can see it. I don't know if you can see that. Anyways, there's an airport right there. But if you are at all interested in the history of Washington, D.C. and the Watergate and any sort of American presidential history, this place was really cool. Maybe it's a little bit of a novelty item, maybe it's a little bit gimmicky, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was neat, and I would definitely come back. All right, I think that's gonna be it for me today. See you next time. I can't end this video without showing you first the complimentary coffee that's available in the lobby every morning, and then probably my best meal here, which was in Kingbird again, but this time was the breakfast chicken and waffles, which were absolute gas. Bye now.